Welcome to this episode of live stream of Global Studies. And today we have a specific topic that is very interesting for the parents and for any family who is seeking to study abroad with their kids. And if you have many queries about Canada, let me introduce you today to the Director of Saskatoon International Education from Canada. Thank you, Renee. Thank you for coming here, and thank you for being part of this live stream.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure meeting you, Karen, and I'm so excited to talk about the great opportunities that exist in Canada and hopefully to connect in the future with some students and families that might have more questions. So this is great. Thank you.
I think there are great advantages of studying in Canada. And I think probably in South America, we don't realize that the big opportunities that we have. Comparing with other destinations such as UK, USA, I would say that Canada is half of the price and the quality could be one of the best top universities, the same as UK, USA as well. And starting from an early point, like the secondary education is even better because we'll open better opportunities for the parents and for the kids. So please let us know a little bit more about the school, and we will really appreciate if you can explain us everything, how the process starts with you.
Sure. So I am Renee Clemens. I'm the Director of Saskatoon International Education, like Karen said, and I have the great pleasure of running the International Student Program, where we welcome students who join to go into either elementary school, which is kindergarten to grade 8 in our province, or else high school. Mostly high school is the demographic of students that come and join us. Some come for shorter term, some come for longer term, and others will join to graduate with a diploma in Saskatoon and then often continue on with post-secondary either in Canada or North America or even abroad. So the advantage of having a secondary diploma from Canada really opens all kinds of doors, whether a student wants to stay in Canada and take advantage of the great post-secondary opportunities here, or if they would like to take that abroad. It is a diploma that is truly international and will allow students and their families to go wherever life may take them and wherever the best opportunities exist for them. So it's highly competitive, really gives students a great advantage in terms of critical thinking, hands-on experience, high academic learning. So really, we have a lot to offer students from all over the world. It's a very exciting job I get to do every day.
Oh, that sounds very, very exciting. Do you have students from South America? What could you say that is the experience from these students?
Absolutely, we do have students from South America. Every year it's a little bit different depending on which students join us. But we have had students from Chile, from Colombia, from Brazil, and other countries as well. Peru this year, we actually had a student from Peru who just graduated grade 12. So that was very exciting. We had his family join us for all of the graduation ceremonies here in June. And he is actually a student who is carrying on to the University of Saskatchewan in the fall. So, it's a really great experience for South American students, whether they want to come for a shorter term to work on English and have that cultural experience, or whether they want to think more long-term and come to graduate and then maybe plan a future life either in Saskatoon or in Saskatchewan or elsewhere in Canada or the world.
Sounds incredible. Can we probably start the presentation so we can explain little by little to the parents? And I'm pretty sure if you are watching this video and you have any questions, please don't hesitate to write them down, and we will be replying in the QA area when we are here, okay?
Yeah, so I'll just start with our location because it's maybe not the most well-known location of Canada. So we are the city of Saskatoon. We are the largest city in the province of Saskatchewan. We're very much in the middle of Canada, and I like to say in the heart of Canada. I have lived in other places, both in Canada and abroad. And the one thing that made me really want to come back home to my home province is just how warm and welcoming it is and how friendly people are. So that is why I truly call it the heart of Canada, because I personally think the kindest, most welcoming, most lovely people in Canada live in Saskatchewan. We are a province that only started a couple hundred of years ago, and we had to really work together as small communities to build our communities and to create industry and build educational systems and all of that. So when you come to Saskatchewan, you really feel that collaboration and that community environment where people are close knit and they are very curious and excited to welcome new people and want to make everyone feel part of the community and part of what they are doing. So our international students benefit from exactly that thing. The other interesting thing right now is in Saskatoon and in general in our province, but specifically in Saskatoon, we have a very young average age population. So this is largely because we have so much job opportunity right now. So many young families who are staying or others who are relocating from out of province and out of country for work. We also have two post-secondary institutions in Saskatoon. So we have the University of Saskatchewan and Sask Polytechnic. So that adds to the youthful feel and the student life, which is very vibrant for high school and post-secondary students. It's a very safe community, easy to get around. We have very efficient bus transportation that is low cost. So students can be very independent and can feel very secure in getting around themselves and, going to their activities, going to school, enjoying different excursions and outings. So that's great. And then really, even though we're a small population, perhaps especially by certain Latin American standards, some of those cities are so large, we are still a very vibrant city. We have a fully urban environment with all of the amenities that any student could need or want. There are lots of activities, always lots of festivals all through the year. It's a very, very vibrant place to live. Of course, Canada is well known for winter, but we do still have our 4 distinct seasons. And there is so much to do outdoors and indoors all times of the year. So a big part of students coming to Saskatoon is we as a program will plan activities for them and help them discover, all that is available to do in all of those times of year. So even students that have maybe never experienced snow or much of a winter will have a really great opportunity to see all that's possible there. But then, of course, in spring and summer and fall, there are also many, many opportunities and many great things to do. I will point out in this picture here, if you can see my cursor, these are all Spanish-speaking students. So we have 2 students from Spain, 1 from Argentina, and 1 from Costa Rica in this photo. So we are very lucky to welcome, as I said earlier, many students from Latin America. Now about our school division. So we have 49 elementary schools and 9 high schools. And we really focus on a number of things. So of course, the academic excellence is very, very important, but we also want students to have important learning around well-being. So all forms of health, around being responsible citizens, respectful people, good people who communicate and participate in their community. And then we also want them to feel engaged. So when we're doing course selections and when we're choosing programming for students, we do this in a very individualized way because we want all of their learning to be really connected to their interests and their career goals and even their life goals. So we really spend a lot of time on that individual planning for students. Now, a little bit more about our student population. So as I said, we have many schools. Right now, international students are attending 7 of the 9 high schools. So our division is the largest in the whole province. We serve a large number of students, which is why we have a lot of great programming, which I'll talk about next. This year, we had about 120 international students. Next year, we're projected for probably about 140. And we have really great diversity in our program. So this year, we had over 20 countries represented, which was really, really exciting. And having students from so many different countries and backgrounds, languages, really makes the experience rich within the international program. But then, of course, our students get really involved and then have the opportunity to make Canadian friends and really integrate into the community, which is awesome. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but just so everybody knows, we have different options for terms that the student could come and study. So we do have many students that will come for a shorter term, 3 or 4 months, to have more of a language immersion experience and cultural experience. We have those that will come for 1 semester, and they can earn some credits and validate 1 semester. They can validate a full year as well if they're returning to their home country. Some will choose to do the IB program in grades 11 and 12, and then others will come for the high school graduation program and then carry on to post-secondary opportunities. And we have a great mixture of all types of students within our program. I won't speak too much about the elementary program, as this isn't really a primary thing that we do, but we do have several students that will come with family members or who might have family members already staying here and will join our program, so they can come and be part of everything that we offer at the elementary school level. And we offer quite a bit of family support for them. For our high schools, as I mentioned, we have students attending 7 of the schools. And so here you can see the approximate populations of each of our schools. So we have some on the smaller side, which is great. And then we have some that are larger. And so we have students attend all of these, and the choice of school may depend on the homestay location, may depend on their program desires or certain goals that they have. If there's a specific program they want to do that's only offered at one school, that determines school choice. So we have a lot of really great options within our different schools. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about each of the programs we offer. I know this is a lot of information, so hopefully people can play it back if they need, and of course can contact Global to have more information about anything that I'm talking about here. But first I'll talk about some of our academic pathways. So we do have IB, which is of course quite internationally known. We offer this in grades 11 and 12. We also have advanced placement. So advanced placement is sort of like university prep. And this is where students could choose 1 or more specific subjects where they would dive into deeper university level content while also studying provincial curriculum. We also have, I like to mention, the language opportunities. So we have French immersion, which may not be of interest to all students. However, if any students are studying French on a higher level, they would be able to join 1 or more immersion classes if they wanted. We also have the other language classes, and I like mentioning this because some international students want to study more than English when they come, and that's completely an option if they want. So we offer Spanish, which is maybe not as needed for Latin American students, but we also have German, Japanese, and French. And this year we are trialing a Mandarin course. So this is a great opportunity, especially for students that might have their sights set on international careers where they might benefit from having multiple languages. Next, I'm going to talk about athletic academies. So we have 3, and how it works is that the student would have this put into their timetable. So they don't have to leave the campus. They don't have to spend a lot of time away from academics. It is 1 period a day built into a 5-course day where the student can specifically focus on that athletic area. And they can do that on campus and then carry on with their academic studies. So it involves extra training and performance opportunities within the school day without sacrificing academic time, because we know the academic piece is also so important. So we have this for soccer. We also have a softball academy, and we have a dance academy. And so each of these are quite popular. I will say specifically Soccer Academy is our most popular, and World Cup is certainly contributing to that. But Canada has a very, very active soccer community, which is not well known to everybody. And not only could students join the Soccer Academy, but we also have several football clubs in our city that students can join. A student could come and play all year if they wanted to. So they can have that within their school day and also outside of the school day. For softball, this is offered usually in semester 2, and that's because then during the winter, it's opportunity to train. So they use both indoor and outdoor facilities, and it includes sometimes a bit of travel as well for baseball camps. And then lastly, the Dance Academy. This one is also very popular with our international students. This is really about developing well-rounded dancers in multiple forms of dance. And this, just like the others, is included in the school day. So it includes a special facility with the spring floors and everything, but then they can still carry on with their math and their English in the day 2. And it culminates with a beautiful, beautiful recital of all of the different types of dance they've studied and the different performances they've prepared in each style. A couple of other unique programs. We have an outdoor school, which is a 1-semester program for grade 11, and it happens in semester 2 so that students can experience winter, spring, and summer all in 1 semester. So they still take typical classes like English language arts, science, geography. They still get credit for those, but the approach to the learning is very hands-on and land-based and outdoors. So that part is a really cool thing. Students could come for more than 1 semester and still do this semester-long program and then carry on with regular programming later as well. And then we have a media school. So with all of the popularity around social media, film creation, media content in general, this is a really great option where students can completely focus on this for 1 semester. So 4 out of their 5 classes in that semester take place in a special area of this one school where they have green screens, cameras, editing stations, sound recording booths, so they can really focus on how to create different types of media. The last one is, I have 2 more actually. There's pre-engineering for grade 10 and 11, which is a class that focuses only on the different types of engineering. And we have some great partnerships with the University of Saskatchewan and Cameco, which is a mining company, so that students can see practical applications of different types of engineering science. And then lastly, the high school carpentry apprenticeship program. So this is where an entire house is built in 1 semester, and the students learn all of the trades of residential construction throughout that time. It is very impressive to see. And it's a great partnership that also exists between our high schools and post-secondary, specifically Sask Polytechnic. If students want to pursue any type of trade afterwards, they already earn many certifications they need and then already have some hands-on experience to then get started. So this is a great one as well. But of course, some students don't want to do any particular unique program. They want to come for a high school experience, either to graduate or not. And so we spend time with every student before they arrive to choose their classes. We provide a lot of information about the different course offerings, and then we meet online with each student individually to help them make the best choices according to their goals and whatever they're hoping to experience while they're here. So you can see there are a lot of great options. The arts education options are very popular, as are the physical education options. I will be honest, most international students are very drawn to the types of options that aren't usually available in their home countries. So, usually a lot of electives are very popular. The business options are extremely popular. And then, of course, our industrial arts and our practical and applied arts options. These are hands-on, very, very practical indeed, but are very fun. And again, lead to developing some very concrete skills for the workforce and post-secondary studies. So I highly recommend all of these, which is why they're on the list. And this is kind of just a snapshot. We have other unique offerings in the schools. It's hard to capture everything that we offer. So it's a really great opportunity for students to come. Those who graduate, I won't go into too much detail with this, but those who graduate, of course, work towards specific requirements. And we provide that graduation planning consultation all the way through a student's experience. We walk alongside each student individually so that they know exactly what they need to take. And we actually have staff in our schools that specifically help with that. And I'll talk about that soon. The other great part about the experience in Canada in general, anywhere you study, is that we have a lot of focus on extracurriculars. So we place high importance on academics, but we also believe that involvement outside of academic courses is really important for developing all kinds of skills. So we in our schools have athletic opportunities, and you can see the list of all the different sports and options that students can join through the school year. We also have drama and dance opportunities that can be for course credits or also extracurricular. So some really great options are getting involved in musical theater and the plays that go on, because there are different ways to get involved, whether it's the acting and singing kind of on front stage, or if it's sort of the background stuff like lights and tech or costume design or set design. All of these are really great. And then in terms of dance, we have a lot of really great options that can be competitive or for fun and always offer really great performance opportunities. So, students might have the chance to perform in front of the school at a pep rally or some kind of special presentation. So these are great options. We have hip hop, pom, cheerleading, open dance studio time, and now they're beginning team dance competitions. So that's really exciting too. For music opportunities, students can do these for credit or after school extracurricularly. So there are many different types of bands to get involved in, and depending on specifically what a student might want to do, we would have different school suggestions, because even some of our schools have marching bands or drum lines. So this might be of particular interest to certain types of musicians. And then there are lots of ways to create ensembles and group opportunities for music after school. I have to mention outdoor education as well. There are many clubs that are offered in all of our schools where students can get outside and even have a bit of opportunity to travel around the city and around the province to experience the different areas we have. Usually Saskatchewan is known internationally for our farming. So everybody thinks that it's just farm fields or green fields, but that's actually only about 40% of our province. The rest is rivers. We have 100,000 lakes, we have rivers, we're part of the Canadian Shield, so we have lots of forest, rocky bottom lakes. We have the second largest sand dune in North America. There's so much to experience and explore that, joining one of these clubs is a great way to see it all and really take advantage. And then we also have these as course options too. Lots of different clubs to join, so it goes far beyond athletics and the outdoors. We have different types of clubs in our different schools. And again, this is just a snapshot of what is available. There is so much more on offer. It's so hard to make a list, and different schools will have different options. Students get to start their own clubs too. So we've even had international students start clubs that they want to have and that they want to enjoy. So really, the world is unlimited in this area. And then regarding our staff, I think this is an area that's really important, especially for parents. When you're sending your most precious child across the world, that can feel really scary and can be very stressful. And so we have staff to support your child all along their journey. The advisors specifically are staff that work directly in our high schools. And so students can go to someone on campus for anything they might need. The advisors plan loads of activities for the students through the year. They also help with, speaking with teachers if there's any confusion or if students need extra support. They help with course selections, especially throughout the future. They help with post-secondary admissions. So we offer a lot of added value through our staff. We also have our own homestay coordinator, and our own homestay program. So Delia helps support our host families and our students in homestay. And so the students always have somebody they can call. I am the custodian for every homestay student. So myself and Delia are the 24/7 emergency contacts for the host families and the students and the agents and natural parents, whoever needs to get a hold of us. So we're available if there's ever any worry or concern or something serious that has happened. Our administrative assistant, Pedram, he's amazing. He helps with all of our document collection and helps with processing letters of admission and those sorts of things. Our admissions officer, Sarah, is Spanish speaking. She also helps as an advisor in schools, and then she's the one who meets individually with students and does the course selections and the planning. She helps me with recruitment a little bit. And so because she's Spanish speaking, that is a really nice resource to have if ever students need to speak in their first language. We are very well equipped to help with that. And then lastly is Maria. She mostly helps with our elementary program and helps support our Chinese community. So she's a part-time employee that helps a lot with settling services and our elementary program. So we have an amazing team, all who have lived abroad or have studied abroad, have hosted students, have come to Canada as students. There's a mixture of experience, and they really understand students and want to support them and help them in every way. So that's a really great thing. And then the last thing I'll talk about here is our homestay program. So one of the great things about coming to a Canadian public high school is that you have the option to live with a homestay family. And this is a great way to really be immersed in English and in the culture here. Our host families are amazing and really love learning about new people and the countries they come from and the languages they speak. And then they get really excited to share, things in Saskatoon, activities and their own family traditions at Christmas and Thanksgiving and those different times. So it's a really lovely time to just connect with somebody new. And many of our host families and students continue to communicate even after the student leaves. And many host families end up traveling to the student's home country to meet their family and to visit. So these are really connections that last a lifetime and are very, very special. From my own perspective, my family, when I was growing up, we hosted international students. That made me so excited to go and explore the world. And then I actually was an international student in high school and in university, I think largely because I was exposed to that and was so excited to learn other languages and go to other places. So I think the homestay experience is absolutely amazing because I've gotten to be a host and then I have been hosted as a student. And then now we get to run our own homestay program. So it's pretty special. And really, I think that covers most of everything. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. And I know it's a lot of information, but just kind of a quick overview of what's available here.
Well, what amazing explanation. Thank you, Renee. To be honest, we've been sending students to Canada, and I would say the families, we never had any complaint about the homestay, but also about the quality, the immersion that the schools they do between the students, the educational system, and the care that the school has with the students. It's an amazing opportunity. I can say that you have one of the best options here for Canada because you have quality IB schools. Students can go 4 months, 5 months, 10 months. So it's a great option for the students. And if you are a parent and you want this immersion with your child to get this experience, you can try 4 months, 5 months, or the full academic year. I think it's a great option. Just a quick question, Renee. What are the start dates when the students can enroll for the 4 months or the full academic?
So usually for a September start, applications would be due May 1st, tuition would be due June 1st. For a February start, applications are due November 1st and tuition is due December 1st. So we have 2 formal intakes. However, we have had students maybe for a 3-month term that decide to come April to June. There is some flexibility sometimes depending on the school year of the home country as well. So even though we do have those start dates, please don't hesitate to reach out if you have an inquiry about maybe a slightly different start time. We have made that work in the past, and we're open to finding options that are most suited for our students.
Oh, brilliant. What kind of qualifications in English they would need in order to join the year 11 and 12?
I know here in the application criteria, we say that previous exposure to English is helpful, and we do say that B1 is helpful. However, we have never rejected an application on the basis of English language level. We do not discriminate on that basis. And so if a student had not really had much experience with English yet and wanted an immersion experience, we do have English as additional language classes. ESL or EAL is what we call it in Saskatchewan. And so when a student comes with lower levels of English, we would do the course selection really strategically to ensure that the student can build their language skills and then be able to participate in meaningful learning while specifically, building English. So for example, I'll maybe just return quickly to our course list just to show you a little bit. So for example, some of the practical and applied arts classes that are more hands-on are a great option for students that might still be in those beginning phases of learning, like a foods class, following basic recipes, having to speak with your group members, building those oral skills. That's a great place to start. Then we would also have the English as additional language class. Math is usually easy to translate because of numbers. And then we would maybe pick, some other hands-on or physical classes that students would be interested in and that would help them still progress, but really focus on English to start. And if it's a short-term experience, it would kind of end there. But if they're coming longer term, we would just continue to build on that momentum to create, courses in sequence that are accessible to the student language-wise. And then they can just carry on and progress as they go. We've had many students come with minimal English. And while it might take a little bit more time for them to achieve graduation, for example, they still get there. And the progress they make is really remarkable and is a very rewarding part of our job.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. Thank you. If we speak about the student who is completing the secondary education with Saskatoon schools, how will be the process into the higher education in Canada?
Right. So usually in September of the grade 12 year, we, as a program, we take the students to a campus tour. So it wouldn't be to every campus, but to our local campus, so they can sort of start to think about, okay, what might the options be? What is a North American or Canadian campus like? What can I expect? What services are available for international students? Because we do the tour with the international program so that students can see the international student experience side of it as well. Usually early admissions begin quite early, so sometimes as soon as November. But typically we would have applications in by February so that students can qualify for any scholarships that might be available. And in fact, with some of our partnerships with post-secondary institutions, lots of times our students have guaranteed entry scholarships and other scholarships they're eligible simply because they're coming from our program and are spending that time in secondary. So that's a really nice advantage. Depending on where the student wants to apply, we sort of need to look at those deadlines and those requirements. But we, as the program, can help students collect the documents they need. We're also, of course, looking at these things ahead of time to ensure the students are taking the courses they need for their admissions requirements. So we offer a lot of different supports like that. Usually students would apply, like I said, in February. Once they finish their second semester, they would submit their final transcript. And then once that is accepted, they receive their full letter of acceptance and everything, and then, would be admitted in September. There is, of course, the study permit process as well. So, kind of depending on the student situation, we manage that and we help with that where we can. However, from an immigration standpoint, we aren't allowed to do it on behalf of the student, but we can connect students to resources for help with that. So with renewing or extending their study permit so that they can carry on to post-secondary.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I think we have a question. It's from Fabiola. How do your schools prepare students to get admissions to Canadian universities? I think we just explained that one. The full support is available. The students will also have the advantage of already being in Canada. The process with the visa will be just extending within Canada if they are already there. And let me see, there is another question. What extra activities would the students have? I think Renee explained that there are lots of plenty opportunities in sports and activities outside the classroom as well. We read that around the area there are more than 100,000 lakes, if I'm not wrong, right, Renee? Lots of outdoor activities. Yeah, so I think there are plenty of things that the kids. And one of the things I did like from the Canadian system is that they don't only put on the students the academic side, but they also try to build this extra support about, you were showing us how to build a house, how to go around the house, like to manage your cooking, all that thing that I think is very valuable for the parents. I think it's a very important factor that they should consider.
I agree. One thing I'll mention too, like even on our graduation requirements, I know it's small and hard to see, but again, with this emphasis on preparing students for post-secondary, but also for life, we now have this course here called financial literacy. I don't know if you can see it. So financial literacy is a course dedicated to teaching students all about financial management, budgeting, mortgages, how credit works, investment. How does that work? How should a person approach that? Strategies for saving. So things that when I was young, no one ever taught me. I had to learn those things on my own. It is now a graduation requirement. So this is a great opportunity for students to understand all of those things even before they start university. So then they can hopefully have a better sense of financial management during university and afterwards. I think that alone is a great advantage, along with all the courses and areas that students can learn in before they head to post-secondary.
Yeah, that is great. I think we had Gabriela asking what English level my son would need and what opportunities would have after graduation. I think we were explaining that if your child has between B1 level will be a plus. However, if it is lower than that, the school will try to level up the English. And if he has a French, great plus, because they also have French. So they will try to balance the student with both languages, English and French. We actually had an experience where we had a student who was a French speaker. We sent to Canada. And it was great to see that he could click in with the classes, with the French, but at the same time, the school was trying to level up the language of English. And at the end, the student managed to get B2 in English, and it was very confident with the system. So I think it's a very good class from the school. I think are all the questions. Thank you so much to everybody who participated. And if you need more information about the school, and if you want to review your application about what your child would like to study, we can also talk about the career path that they could have. I think this is a great option for you to consider if you want to study abroad, if you are keen in understanding what universities or opportunities your child will have. Renee explained it us very well, everything about how is the process with them. And please don't hesitate to contact us. I don't know, Renee, if you want to say some final words. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karen, for putting in the time to organize this and for welcoming me onto the podcast. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed being here and getting to know you. And I really look forward to speaking with any potential students in the future. And if anytime anyone has questions about Canada or the education system in our country or anything else, please reach out to Karen and myself, and we'd be happy to help with anything at all. So thank you again.
Thank you so much indeed. Have a lovely afternoon and see you wherever you are. See you in the next live stream. Thank you. Bye, Renee. Bye-bye.